Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cafecito and Cane show. Sorry, I am a tad late. A little situation with my lighting and the green screen and all that, but we are here. Couldn't keep the people waiting. We're starting. Some news on the Simeon Barrow front. So we'll get to that in a second. Also, some other stuff. Some quotes from opposing ACC coaches came out about our team and about our staff. 4 former Canes are up for College Football Hall of Fame induction, so that's pretty cool. We'll hit that first. We'll start with some good news. But yeah, without any further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so like I said, I wish I had a little cafecito to toast with, but I don't. I didn't have time to do that. But congratulations to the 4 Canes, the 4 former Canes who are on the College Football Hall of Fame ballot for 2025. They are Darren Smith, former linebacker from the late 80s, early 90s. He won 2 national championships here in Miami as an outside linebacker. I believe he played for the Dallas Cowboys. And he was a first team All-American, part of the Bermuda Triangle, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. Definitely well-deserved. Larry Coker, no matter what you feel about him in hindsight, he did win here. He was an important part of that early 2000s run. Yes, he inherited the greatest roster of all time, but he did win when he was here. So I think he deserves a little congratulations. And I really hope he gets inducted because I think that's pretty cool. And the last 2 are way overdue because these are 2 of the, I think, the all-time greats in college football history, regardless of team. First, you have Ken Dorsey, who went 38-2 as a starter here at Miami, won a national championship, had a second one taken away from him. And then, of course, you have one of the all-time greatest safeties, Sean Taylor, who also long overdue. So I was wondering, especially with those 2, why did it take so long? Because it's been over 20 years since they played in college. Well, I looked at the criteria. I was curious. You need to be at least first team All-American at least once, which they both were, of course. And you need to have played it. You need to be at least 10 years removed from when you played. Like, okay, it's been 20 plus years, but I don't know what they were waiting for, but hey, whatever. Long overdue. I don't know what took so long, but they're on the ballot. They're on the ballot, and it looks like. Sorry about that. I got muted. Let me know if you can hear me, by the way. So yeah, I will be shocked if at least Dorsey and Taylor don't get inducted. Hopefully all 4 get inducted. I think they all deserve it. And I saw that Nick Saban was already on the ballot. I'm like, he just retired last year. How's that work? I read the criteria for that. It turns out if you were over the age of 70, you can get inducted. You can get inducted as soon as you retire. If you're over the age of 75, you can actually get inducted while you're still coaching, which I thought was interesting. All good? Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what that was. But anyways, thank you guys for being on. Norman, as always, I appreciate the donos. Thank you, sir. Philly Kane, Caesar, finally made a live stream. Yes, thank you for being on. Chris Gons, thank you, as always. All right, so there's that. So congrats to those 4. Simeon Barrow. So some news has come out recently, like this afternoon, early evening. I was actually just listening to Locked On Canes, Alex Dono, Bruce Warner. They had a good episode earlier today, and they updated us on the whole Simeon Barrow situation. And it wasn't just them. I believe Caneville on his Twitter account threw something up saying that, yeah, it looks like Barrow's going to stay. And that was what Alex and Bruce reported earlier today as well. Um, they gave a little bit more detail on it. I wasn't going to come in here and, put the young man's stuff out there. I don't like doing that, but it's pretty well known now. It's I would say at least rumored, that little caveat, I would say rumored, that his dad was heavily involved, or his camp was heavily involved in all this, and whole thing became kind of a mess. Won't go much deeper into that, but yeah, basically Simeon, he already started classes at Miami, so the transfer portal's closed. He's pretty much stuck. So what does that mean? Well, let's say he stays. Say he stays and plays out the year. Well, of course, you got the locker room situation. How's that going to go? That could get a little dicey. Thankfully, this is happening in a time where, money is involved now, and it's a weird time in college football. In the 80s or 90s, 2000s, hell, even like 5-10 years ago, this would not have gone over well at all. But, it's a different landscape now. So what's going to happen? Say he stays, plays out the year. Simeon Barrow came here, obviously because he wanted to play for something. He wanted to try to win something significant in his final year. But for the most part, he wanted to up his draft stock, and he thought playing on this defensive line would do that. This is a big money year for him. It would not be smart of him to now, cry and pout about it and sit out the year or whatever, because NFL teams are watching this. NFL scouts are watching this unfold. So this is more important than ever. Now he really has something to prove. It's important for him to step on that field and play his ass off. It's important for this summer for him to practice his ass off and prove to his teammates that he's serious, that he really wants to win here. So it's an interesting situation, but I think just the mere fact that Simeon he can't afford to have a bad season, for his career, for, his future in the NFL potentially. I think he's got a lot of motivation to play hard. So if he wants to stay and he wants to play, hey, that's another impact guy on the defensive line, and that's important. I came on here and spoke, I forgot what day it was, the other day, a few days ago, when the news first broke that he might be transferring. And I said, and I still stand by this, like, yeah, if he were to leave, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think we'd still be okay on the D-line, especially after getting Tyler Barron. And now you got all the young guys coming in. I would think somebody like Justin Scott or Tavius Jones, somebody would step in and maybe not fill the same role, but they would contribute, and make some plays. But, that's, again, I don't think losing him would have been the end of the world, but it still sucked. It stung a bit. But him staying, that's big. That's big because that's an impact guy. That's a proven guy that you can put next to CJ Clark. You have two veterans in Ahmad Moten and Josh Horton. Well, Josh Horton's still young, but you know what I mean. Two experienced guys behind him that have been in the strength and conditioning program that, have put on the size already. And then behind them on the third string and fourth string, then you got the young guys that you can rotate in. And of course, you got Justin Scott, Artavius Jones, Armando Blunt. You got all those guys breathing down Simeon Barrow's neck. So even more motivation for him to work hard, because that's something that's been missing for many years. On top of the depth helping you during the season, with mileage and just, not being so, not taxing their bodies by the end of the season, being able to rotate guys, it also brings competition. Because if you got somebody right behind you making plays in practice and you're having an off day, guess what? Just like that, he can take your job. Back in the day, that's what it was. In the big programs today, the programs that are winning, that's how it is. So got a lot of numbers on that D line, and he can't mess around anymore. So hopefully this will all work out. It's good news, I guess, that it seems like he's going to stay. I have high hopes. I think just, again, the fact that he can't afford to slack off and have a bad year for his future, for his sake. I think he's going to play hard. So, we'll see what happens there. Josh Horton may take his role. The staff and Highsmith speak highly of that young man. Yes. Love Joshua Horton. I love Artavius Jones. Justin Scott, 5-star, big name 5-star recruit. We'll see what he does. The young guys are all on campus now working out. So I can't wait till August to see what they actually do when they put the shoulder pads back on and they go out and do scrimmages. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be telling. Any concern with him staying, just not giving his all or slacking. I hope he's an absolute beast, and that would be in my mind as a player. Yeah, like what I just said, I agree with you there. I think he has a lot of motivation and a lot of reason to come in and play hard. So that I'm not too worried about. Will the players receive him, though? Will they give him that second chance? And look, for all the people on social media kind of trashing him, not trashing him, but saying, hey, if he wants to go, good riddance, he can leave. It's like, well, yeah, but I mean, there was some disrespectful comments out there too, of course, like there always are. Remember, a lot of you don't know the whole story. Hell, I mean, I know some detail, but I don't know the whole story, and I'm certainly not going to put anything additional out there. It's, let this play out. You don't know the whole story. So, let the young man kind of, if he wants to stay, let him settle back in and give him a shot. And let's see if he can prove us all wrong and prove to his teammates that he does belong. So that's the Simeon Barrow situation. Long story short, it seems like for now he's staying. Nope, he got to fight Bane first to be accepted. Hey, listen, I know you're saying that in jest, but if this was the 80s or the 90s, I mean, that's not too far off from the literal truth of what would need to happen. Yeah, so very odd situation, but hopefully it's being cleaned up and, we can move forward. Thankfully, this was happening at the end of May. This was happening now in the summer. This wasn't happening August 15th or, August 2nd, like right before the season starts. You have some time to clean it up. But, good news there. Also, I was hearing a lot of these quotes that have come out. I've heard it on a couple different shows, the quotes from other coaches basically saying, long story short, or in a nutshell, what they're saying is, yeah, Miami's talent is good. They have nice players, but their problem is on the sideline, not on the field, that can hold them back. Listen, this isn't anything new to us. Obviously, X's and O's, game day coaching, situational coaching, that's not Mario's strong suit. We know that, and we have known that for a while. But in the past years, we didn't have a quarterback. I'm talking about, you could go further than this, but let's just keep it in the last 2 years. Quarterback situation, horrible. Offensive line, good. Defense, horrible year one, solid last year. You're not losing too many guys from that defense, really. You're starting safeties. That's about it. Couple coaches said, hey, the secondary might be a weak point. Valid. Totally valid. I could see that with the safeties, though. Corner, I feel like coaches are sleeping on us. I don't know if they just weren't paying attention to Damari Brown last year. Daryl Porter, allowed a minuscule amount of targets for the amount of snaps, coverage snaps he had. He just locked down his side of the field. He's back healthy. Damari's a year older. He's a sophomore now. He's big, long, physical. He's fast. He definitely looks the part of an NFL corner, and he started showing flashes of that late in the season. Then you got Dione Hill, who was a very nice addition, very nice depth piece. He's a veteran, he's experienced. He can step in and, spot start here and there. Jadaeus Richard, who also looked really, really, really good in in spring. He looked like he took a step forward. And that's the other thing. One coach even said, "Oh, I have questions about," I think this, I don't know the exact quote, but he said something to the effect of, I have questions about how, they develop. Game day coaching, valid. I agree with you. Coaching did cost us at least one game last year. But then he starts talking about how players come in and train and develop. Listen, yes, this past season, some true freshmen stepped on the field right away and looked really good. I'm sorry, but look, especially if they came in the spring, coaches should get some credit for that because somebody prepared them to step on the field as a freshman. It's not like they graduated high school and the very next day they played their first game. No, they had that entire offseason to prepare. Coaches should get some kind of credit for that. The Maui Noahs, the Fletchers, they stepped in and did very well in their true freshman season. Sophomore year, let's see how much better they are. That'll be very, very telling. But I have faith because you had guys from past classes. What about Isaiah Horton? Isaiah Horton from 2-3 years ago, different guy. Looked really good in the spring. Looks like he's going to have a nice rapport with Cam Ward. Another guy, Matthew McCoy, he's developed nicely. He may start this year. Jalen Rivers. Come on. You can't tell me he's the same guy that he was when he walked in here. That's a different dude. That's one of the best left tackles in the country. And a lot of that is development. Remember, he was a massive question mark going into last season. Now, a lot of people don't remember that. Okay? So don't tell me they can't develop. They've already shown in these last couple of years, they can develop guys. Now, can we develop guys into being first rounders by the time they get to that junior season? Let's see. But certain guys are on the right track, and that's more than I can say from past coaches, because a guy would come in as a freshman and just kind of taper off and be drafted as a 7th rounder, and we never hear from him again, or be an undrafted free agent. So we'll see. Fletcher working out again. Yeah, if Fletcher's ready for day one, oh my good Jesus. Oh my God. That's going to be a hell of a running back combination. Oh my God. Him and Martinez, that's just stupid. That's just not fair. Doom, what's going on, sir? Previously, John put FSU over Miami in the polls, and Barrow wanted to transfer. Now John has changed his mind. John for president again. Thank you. Appreciate you. By the way, I'm not the only one. Look at every poll that's coming out. They have us between like 17 and 24. A couple even have us unranked, and most polls have FSU like 10th, 11th. Those are delusional. I would put FSU in the teens only because, yes, they took a hit talent-wise. I don't think they replaced that talent properly, but they have a hell of a game day coach. Their X's and O's and their preparation, very good. They're good there. But, yeah. No, some of these polls have FSU in the top 10, and I'm like, what are these people smoking? Speaking of, I don't know if you guys saw the ESPN FPI predictions for the ACC. They had Miami at a 9.9% chance to win the ACC. I saw that and I'm like, okay, where are the other teams? Turns out we're like 5th on that list as far as odds to win the ACC. FSU's number 1 at 26.9. I'm like, okay, that's a different level of delusion right there. That you put FSU that far ahead of everybody else? No. That's just completely false. And then number 2 was Clemson at like 15 or 16%. That one I'm kind of okay with. Their defense is still stellar, and Klubnik is good at times. Maybe they can scrounge together 9-10 wins. I mean, they do have Dabo. It could happen. I think Clemson is on the way down, though. Don't get it twisted. Clemson's on the way down with this whole principle of not getting transfer players. I think that's dumb. So Clemson's on their way out, but I think they could squeeze out one more really good year with what they have. So I could say a 15, 16%. I see that with Clemson. Is FSU better than last year? No, I don't think they are. I totally agree that they're not. Good coaching can make them hang in there in the teens, maybe. No, they're not nearly as good as they were last year, and they don't have Jordan Travis. I think Uiagalelei is better than a lot of people think. I think he's pretty solid, and Norvell can maybe make something of him. But I don't know if he's going to duplicate what he did with Jordan Travis last year. That was 3 years of development in that system, and things just kind of clicked. And you happen to have Jaheim Bell and Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson and Trey Benson and all these guys at the same time. They're all gone. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that I did not understand those percentages at all. They had SMU at 9%, so basically the same as us. SMU, I could see them ripping off 10 wins, maybe 11 wins, because their schedule is that soft. However, SMU, if they get to the ACC championship game, they still have to play somebody, either a Miami or a Clemson or whatever. They're going to play a real team at the end of the year, and don't expect that to go well for them. Thank you. Appreciate that. Georgia Water and Woodsman says, what's the word on any linebacker underclassmen? I don't mind transfers, but prefer a guy we develop in-house. Agreed. Let me think about that linebacking core off the top of my head. Kiko's starting. You got Popo. Popo did really well in the spring. He was thrown in there basically starting at the mic, and they moved him around. And because Kiko was out, I think he had a shoulder cleanup just like his brother did. Minor thing. But Popo played in the spring, played very well. Wes, I know he's not an underclassman. He's about to be a junior, but Wes played outstanding in that spring game. And from what I understand, he looked just as good, if not better, throughout the spring. Like his body of work in spring football was fantastic. He just looked like a different guy. So Wes is looking really good. Popo's looking really good. Adarius Hayes, I got to dig a little more and find out a little more about him to see how he's doing, but he certainly looks the part. That's for sure. Chase looked really solid. I mean, I've been saying it for 3 years. I've been probably longer, probably since I started this channel, because I think Chase's class was 2021. So yeah, he was being recruited back in 2020. So when I started my channel, I was talking about Chase Smith when we were recruiting him. When healthy, Chase Smith is going to destroy people. So don't be surprised if he starts. And hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully he stays healthy. But speed, size, athleticism, Chase checks all those boxes and played very well in the spring as well. So hopefully that answers your question. So we got a couple of young guys, a couple of up and comers, couple guys, a veteran coming back from injury, another veteran that it's like his time now. So, you got a good combination of guys, and then that's all led by Kiko, who's like rock solid and one of the best run stopping linebackers in the country, if not the best. Another guy that just came to mind right now is Bobby Pruitt. Pruitt, who is kind of a hybrid linebacker, safety kind of thing, high linebacker, nickel corner kind of position. He looked very good. He reminds me a lot of Sean Spence, that, he's got that brain, able to read plays, very smart. He shows that really early on too in his freshman season. Already shown the ability to read and diagnose plays and know where the ball's going. Yeah, Pruitt, you guys are going to like. So that's another one I almost forgot about. Do we remember where Vegas had us ranked last year? The wise guys are almost never wrong. Vegas had us, I don't know where they had us ranked before the season started. And I think the over under for wins last year for us was like 6.5, 6.5, 7.5 around there. If I'm not mistaken, it wasn't higher than that. I know it wasn't above 7. If anybody can recall, maybe do a quick Google search and let me know. I think it was like 6.5 or 7.5, which we ended up being 7 and 5. Vegas tends to know what they're doing, but this is the FPI computer whatever thing from ESPN that I was talking about with the ACC. That thing is wrong a lot of the time. But Vegas now has us at 9.5. Now, I can't remember the last time the Vegas over under for wins for Miami was 9.5. That is so basically if you're you're taking the under if you say 9-3. I can't remember the last time that happened. Malik Bryant now DN. How's he doing switching over like our rotation DN? He's looking good. It looks like, this is, from what I'm hearing, that he looks the part. He's gotten bigger. That is more of a natural position for him. He was more of like an edge. There we go. Sorry, it keeps doing that. Keeps muting me. Where was I? Yeah, Malik Bryant. He is more of a natural pass rusher. He did have his hand in the dirt quite a bit, in high school. He also stood up a lot in high school. He was kind of that hybrid, kind of like a Jack, basically, hybrid linebacker D end. So it is more of a natural position for him. He has put on some size, looks the part. He's going to be quick coming off that edge. So you got a nice little rotation now at D end of Bain, Barron, Alston, and Mesidor, and then a fifth guy, Malik Bryant, who is our recruit. We got him, he's from in-house that we're developing. Bain in-house we're developing. And then you got Cole McConaughey. You got this kid that was I'm forgetting his name. Elias Rudolph, is that him? I want to say that. I always forget about him. You got who else? McConaughey, Rudolph. Oh, and then you got Marquise Lightfoot, who played in the spring a little bit. He's already adding some size. You could see him a little bit. Pickett. So I like our D line across the board. We have talent and we're deep. Hot take, I think Jaden would be a better safety than James Williams. My prediction is not far off from that. I really like where Jaden Harris is heading. I love where his head's at. I like how much he's matured the last couple of years. He's got good size. He's one of the fastest safeties in the room. One of the fastest players on defense, period. But definitely, one of our faster safeties. Better safety than James Williams. That could definitely happen. Because I think James Williams, while good player, he was a good college safety, made some plays. A lot of it was due to his size, though. He had those good PFF ratings. A lot of it, and this was explained to me when they do the PFF calculations for DBs. If you're shutting down one side of your field because your length just takes away passing windows naturally, they factor that in, which you are affecting the game. So that was a big part of it. He did get by a lot with his size, but there's an unknown with James Williams now in the NFL. He's going to play linebacker. Let's see how that goes. That could not go well. That could go great for him. I'm not sure. But overall, I would say James Williams, he wasn't average. He was a good safety. He was pretty good. Jaden Harris has a chance to be better. Absolutely. Definitely more sure-handed in coverage, like making less mistakes out there, taking less risks. Now John might have changed his mind. Now Barrow wants to stay. I think Doom's drunk. Anyway, so let's see. Any word? I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. But appreciate the donation, sir, as always. Let's see if there was anything I missed. I think that was it. I'll be on here for another minute. I've been on here 29 minutes, 66 in the chat, by the way. Please hit the like button if you have not done so already. If you have any questions for me, please throw them in now. Oh, who's going to the watch party in Orlando? Throw that in the comments if you are. John, in your opinion, what will it take to have Cam Ward's name hanging from the rafters? Ooh, that's a good question. What will it take? Well, if you are a first team All American, you automatically get put in the rafters. But when you say that, do you mean like Ring of Honor? Like put your name up in the stadium? I mean, hard to say because, he's only here for 1 year. I don't know if there's anything it can do outside of like taking us to like winning us a national championship. Outside of that, yeah, that could do it. If he comes in here and wins a Heisman, I mean, we're winning at least 10 games if he was winning a Heisman. At least. Most like probably 11-1 or better if he wins the Heisman. Yeah, a national championship. I would say so. I don't even think getting us into the Final Four would be enough. I would say either Heisman or a Natty. That's what it would take for him to get his name in the Ring of Honor. But again, hanging in the rafters, like in the practice facility, Cam Kinchin's had his name hung in the rafters recently. That's because he was a first-team All-American. And you knew Mario wasn't going to let Barrow without a fight. He knew to be Cook's backup till Fiat proves he's better. Till he flat out proves he's better. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's going to have to prove himself. But I think he will. On the field, Barrow's a hell of a player. All right, guys. I'm going to log off, but thank you for... I don't know if that's enough to get him in the Ring of Honor. It would take more than that. Hey, John, forgotten man, how is Zion Nelson? No comment. No comment, because honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I feel bad for him, honestly. I do. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you guys for coming on. 67 in the chat. Thank you for hanging with me. Hit the like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm approaching 3,000. So thank you for that. And help me get a little closer. And as always, go Canes. Have a good night, everybody.